Hi, and welcome to Reasonably Catholic. In this season 3, we are dealing with the moral questions and the moral teachings of the Church. Today we will see about what the Church has to say about same-sex unions. Every human being is called to receive a gift of divine sonship, to become a child of God by grace. However, to receive this gift, we must reject sin, including homosexual behavior, that is, acts intended to arouse or stimulate a sexual response regarding a person of the same sex. The Catholic Church teaches that such acts are always violations of divine and natural law. Marriage was instituted by God as a relationship between a man and a woman. As it says, therefore, a man leaves his father and his mother and cleaves to his wife, and they become one flesh. That's Genesis 2:24. The Church does not have the power or authority to change this, nor does secular society. People have a basic ethical intuition that certain behaviors are wrong because they are unnatural. We perceive intuitively that a natural sex partner of a human is another human, not an animal. The same reasoning applies to the case of homosexual behavior. The natural sex partner for a man is a woman, and the natural sex partner for a woman is a man. Thus, people have the corresponding intuition concerning homosexuality that they do about bestiality, that it is wrong because it is unnatural. Natural law reasoning is the basis for almost all standard moral intuitions. For example, it is the dignity and the value that each human being naturally possesses that makes the needless destruction of human life or infliction of physical and emotional pain immoral. This gives rise to a host of specific moral principles such as the unacceptability of murder, kidnapping, mutilation, physical and emotional abuse, and so forth. Even if there is a genetic predisposition towards homosexuality and studies on this point are inconclusive, the behavior remains unnatural because homosexuality is still not a part of the natural design of humanity. It does not make homosexual behavior acceptable. Other behaviors are not rendered acceptable simply because there may be a genetic predisposition towards them. For example, scientific studies suggest some people are born with a hereditary disposition to alcoholism, but no one would argue someone ought to fulfill these inborn urges by becoming an alcoholic. Alcoholism is not an acceptable lifestyle any more than homosexuality is. Homosexual desires, however, are not in themselves sinful. People are subject to a wide variety of sinful desires over which they have little direct control. But these do not become sinful until a person acts upon them, either by acting out the desire or by encouraging the desire and deliberately engaging in fantasies about acting it out. People tempted by homosexual desires, like people tempted by improper heterosexual desires, are not sinning until they act upon these desires in some manner. However, the Church also acknowledges, and I quote them from CCC paras 2357 to 2359, that homosexuality's psychological genesis remains largely unexplained. The number of men and women who have deep-seated homosexual tendencies is not negligible. This inclination, which is objectively disordered, constitutes for most of them a trial. They must be accepted with respect, compassion, and sensitivity. Every sign of unjust discrimination in their regard should be avoided. These persons are called to fulfill God's will in their lives and, if they are Christians, to unite to the sacrifice of the Lord's cross the difficulties that they may encounter from their condition. Homosexual persons are called to chastity by the virtues of self-mastery that teach them inner freedom, at times by the support of disinterested friendship, by prayer and sacramental grace. They can and should gradually and resolutely approach the Christian perfection. So, was that reasonable? Let us know in the comment section below. And until the next week, bye. You